Hello and welcome to another Tuesday Tea and Tarot Talk. Today we're going to be talking about no shame. So if I were to follow the song, I should be doing pleasure right now because we did passion, we did pain, next in the song comes pleasure, and then it's no shame. But I've been struggling recently with shame, specifically when it comes to making videos for this channel. So yeah, we'll get to pleasure eventually, but today we're going to be tackling no shame, because I want to know what I can do to have no shame, or at least less shame. So today I'm going to be drinking an Earl Grey, because there's no shame in liking classic tea flavors. It's a little hot right now, but yes, I'm also wearing this shirt, which I've worn before on this channel, and I will be wearing again in a video coming soon, because I have no shame in being an outfit repeater. I bought this clothes because I liked how it looked, right? So yeah. Anyways, let's get right into it. So I'm going to be using, once again, the Hermetic Tarot. Oh, got some money in there. The Hermetic Tarot. Yeah, so how can we have no shame? Or how can we find ways to live with less shame? What is this called? I forget. Guidebook. Got a little damaged, but that's okay. I don't really use the guidebook, but I like this guidebook. It's because it's tailored to the deck. I hate when there's a guidebook that's not tailored to the deck. It's just like generic. But anyways, let's get right into it because I need some help. I've been feeling, I don't know why, I've been feeling shame. I haven't been able to make videos. I mean, I've tried, but they're not coming out how I want them to, and I don't know. So let's just see how this deck can help us live with less shame. First card is the Star. The Daughter of the Firmament. The Star. Well, so the first thing I'm noticing is we have all the planets here. We have Jupiter, Saturn, the Moon, the Sun, Mercury, Mars, and Venus. Because the planets are our moving stars, our guiding stars. We of course have the imagery of pouring water. A word I always associate with the star is replenish. And I think a word that is often associated, or a set of words that is often associated with the star, is like self-love, taking care of yourself. And I think that relates to not having shame, because there's no shame in taking care of yourself, doing the things you need to do to feel okay, to feel good about yourself and your decisions. And so I think maybe I'm being a little too hard on myself. There's no shame in taking the time you need. There's no shame in prioritizing, yourself over, things that may not exist yet. I think that's what I'm doing. I want, when it comes to this YouTube channel, I want the videos to be good. And I want them to accurately reflect what I'm trying to say, what I'm experiencing, and what I want to share. And I don't need to feel shame in taking the time to make sure that I'm in the right space to do that. So remember that you're a star, and having shame is only dimming your light, and you're doing it to yourself. Like, why would you do that? I'm asking that to myself. Why would I do that? Let me take a sip of my tea. Take a sip of your tea if you want to. I love Earl Grey. I think it was like one of the first teas that I found out that I loved. Um, I mean, I've always loved, a classic green tea. Um, but I think it's bergamot, which I'm not entirely sure what it is. I know it's a citrus, but I've never seen one in real life. Like the flavor that it brings to the black tea, I think it's black tea. It's so delectable. Okay, so I guess I understand. Maybe this card is like why you shouldn't have shame. Um, because, you know, you're here to shine, and shame restricts, limits your ability to do that. And also, you're the most important thing in your life. So you need to make sure that you're okay. And so you shouldn't feel shame in doing what you need to do in order to do that. But so I know why I shouldn't feel shame. So let's get some cards on how to like when I start having those feelings of shame, how can I, assess them and dismiss them, or, practices I can do to stop feeling that way when those feelings come up. Okay. We've got two cards. Let me find them. Okay. We've got the Knight of Cups, the Lord of Waves and Water, and then we've got the Hierophant, Magus of the Eternal Gods. Okay, so how? How can we handle feelings of shame? And what can we do when we're feeling those feelings pop up? Okay, well, I think what this Knight of Cups is saying is that we have to let them pass. And so I think this ties into something I said in my pain video. I said dealing with pain is like a constant thing that you have to keep, like I said, it's like unrolling a rug. You have to keep pushing it so it comes undone. And I think and I remember I said that you can't just ignore pain. It's not going to go away if you ignore it. I think shame is the same. You can't ignore the shame away. So you have to let it flow. Let the emotion flow. Let it take you where it's trying to take you. So I think emotions come up for reasons, right? And so I think maybe shame is signaling to yourself that there are still wounds here. There are still unresolved feelings. And we have to move through them. We have to confront them, but also like push past them. I feel this sense of like movement with the knights. The knights, they're not stationary. They're always moving forward. They're bringing their element forward. So they're bringing emotions, water, to the forefront. So when you're feeling, I think what this is saying is that when you're feeling shame, you don't want to repress it. You don't want to disregard it. You want to let it come to the forefront and let it guide you to what it is that you're really feeling, why you feel that way. And what can you do to move past it, I think, being answered by the Hierophant over here. And so the Hierophant, I always say, is about finding direction. He's got his two fingers, and in this one, they're up. Peace. And he's like sort of inspecting this staff over here. Okay. The Hierophant is associated with Taurus. And when I think of Taurus, I think of steadiness. I think of sticking to something. Like picking a direction and sticking to it. So, when those feelings of shame come up, they're, creating a path to this direction towards enlightenment, right? It's leading you to discover something new, something that's probably repressed or something that's you've been avoiding. And I guess in my case, I've been maybe avoiding being myself or showing my true self. Because one of the next videos I'm going to film is my journey through the zodiac for the sign of Taurus. And I'm a Taurus rising. And so maybe there's this shame in attaching myself to these ideas of Taurus. And obviously, like, no person is one sign. And we all are made up of everything in the world. But there's like laziness and stubbornness that comes up when I think of Taurus, and those are not things I'm super proud of myself. What else is this Hierophant telling us? I don't know. Let's get another card. I feel like I haven't gotten there yet. There's something else that I need to handle the shame. 10 of Cups. This is a card that has come out before. It came out in the Passion video. And I said, when you're engaging with your passions, it feels perfect. It feels like a success. But here I'm not getting the same vibe. Because we have Mars here, we have Mars in Pisces. Or rather, the Mars-ruled decan of Pisces. And I have Mars in Pisces, which I've mentioned in a couple of these videos. And I've also mentioned that it's my out-of-sect malefic in my Aries video. Which means it's sort of the most detrimental planet. It's the planet that is least fortunate. And so I think it has ties to the things I have the most shame of in my life. and that would be the 7th and 12th houses for me as a Taurus rising. I have Aries in the 12th and Scorpio in the 7th. And so that means for me, which I've also talked about, I'm just the king of self-referencing. In my anger, anxiety, and avoidance video, I talk about how my relationships with other people and also my relationship with myself, my mental health, are struggles. Yeah. Sometimes it feels like it's too much, and that's what I'm getting from this Ten of Cups, this overflowing. It's like the emotions are too much to handle, so I just don't. I shut down, I avoid things. I think that's to my detriment. I think that's why I have shame, is because I don't address those things. I'm going to get one more card, I think. We'll see. At least one more card. Okay. Apparently it's 3. And we're left with the 3 of Pentacles, which is the Lord of material work. It's work. It's going to take work to not have shame. It's not just going to go away. You have those feelings for a reason, because of something, right? Because maybe they're learned emotions, things you've been, taught by the world and by your surroundings. Or maybe there have been experiences in your life that created that foundation of shame for you. And so it's not going to be easy work to get through it. But with this 3 here, there's already a baseline. You're clearly addressing it if you're seeing this video, or if you clicked on this video, and you made it this far. Maybe you're interested in addressing your own shame, or maybe not. Maybe you just want to hear me talk. But so there's already a foundation being laid, and so you can build upon it. The ball's already rolling, so you just got to keep it moving. Anyways, oh wait, I think it's actually 4 more cards. Wow. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's 4 more cards. So here, let me move these so I have some space. Okay. We had the Star, Knight of Cups, the Hierophant, and the Ten of Cups. Now we're moving on to the Wheel of Fortune. The Lord of the Forces of Life. I want to put them all out, so that's what I'm going to do. The Princess of Swords. The Princess of the Rushing Winds. The Foolish Man. The Spirit of Ether. And the Lovers. Children of the Voice Divine. Okay. The first thing that's standing out to me right now is in this Lovers card. It's a very different imagery than what I'm used to seeing for Lovers cards. We have this person here that is chained down, like there's a chain tied to his arm here. And we have this other person with a sword trying to set him free. And it's interesting because I always say that the Lovers is about choice, because I always tie it to the Lover card in the Tarot de Marseille, which shows a man with his mother and his spouse, future spouse. And so it sort of signifies the choice to focus on a different part of life, on no longer being a son, but being a husband. And so I think this adds another layer, saying that the choice to honor your love, honor yourself, sets you free. And so I guess that ties back to the star, sort of the antithesis of shame is honoring yourself. Understanding that you do this thing, or you did this thing that you might feel shame for because it may have been the best you could have done in the moment, or you needed to do it to protect yourself. And that's part of life. That's part of the wheel that keeps on turning. Because sometimes you're on top of the world, and sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're down in the dumps. And, you know, you wouldn't feel shame for those. I think you don't really feel that same shame for other people when they do things that if you had done yourself, you might have felt shame for. Because from an outside perspective, we can understand, oh, their circumstances were this, or oh, they did this because of this. But when it comes to ourselves, we often don't have as much grace. I think we need to. Yeah, so this Wheel of Fortune is associated with Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of growth and expansion. And you can't do that if you're being mean to yourself. And you got to understand that life keeps going. So this is also telling me we need to celebrate more. We need to experience pride, have pride in ourselves for when we do things that we should be proud of, or that we are proud of. Because I think, a lot of the time we don't celebrate ourselves. I feel like some people might even feel shame in having pride, because of hubris, right? Excessive pride. Having pride and sort of thinking you're better than. That's not what we need. But what we need is to recognize when we are achieving the things we want, when we are living how we want to live. Because I think in having that gratitude, having that pride, it'll sort of cancel out those feelings of shame, balance out those feelings of shame. And that's something, I don't know if I wrote it down, but I read something in the book yesterday, I Cried, that talks about this. It's that we don't really celebrate ourselves enough. Because it's expected to do well or to not do poorly. So when it happens, it's like, okay, yeah, that's what was supposed to happen. But when we fail, it's like, oh no, I've made a mistake, and so I've done something wrong. But I think we need to flip it on its head. It's like, when you make a mistake, that just happened, Okay, cool. But when we do something properly and we get it done, we need to celebrate, throw a party. Yeah, okay, so we've got 2 more cards here, and I'm gonna try to wrap it up here. got the Princess of the Rushing Winds, the Princess of Swords, and the Foolish Man. Okay. We have like a Medusa-like figure at the top of this card here. And I think Medusa is kind of an interesting metaphor for shame. Because isn't it when you look into her eyes, you turn to stone? I think shame is when you're seeing yourself, you're looking into your own eyes, you're seeing yourself for who you are, and you get frozen because you aren't liking what you see. And she's also like half nude here, and I think that can sort of represent vulnerability. When we see ourselves in a vulnerable situation, we can feel shame. I think we need to let the guard down. She has a sword here, but it's facing down. So I think that can signify not being so defensive and understanding that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to not be the best at everything. And you don't need to feel shame. That's holding you back from getting better. Because you think you create these self-fulfilling prophecies. I create these self-fulfilling prophecies that, you know, it's all I'll ever be. But we need to just throw that shit out the window. Take the leap of faith. Be the fool. Who cares if you look a little foolish? We're all fools. We're all crazy people. You know, it's interesting. He has flowers here, and they have thorns. And life's like that. You know, beauty comes with pain. Pleasure comes with pain. To me, they're both the same. One thing about me is I'm gonna reference that lyric every single time, which is funny because it's not even the lyric that inspired this video series, but it is Miley, of course. Anyways, life isn't always going to be beautiful flowers. Sometimes it's going to be prickly thorns, and you know, there's no shame in bleeding when you get pricked, you know, stumbling when there's a rock in your way. Just get back up, pick yourself back up, and do the best you can. Thank you so much for watching.